Hey there, you're listening to Becoming More Me. I'm your host, Theresa Lear Levine, EFT Master Practitioner, hypnotherapist, and international best-selling author. And if you're listening to this on New Year's Day, well, Happy New Year. It is officially 2026, and I really wanted to find a cool way to ring it in with you today and to really bring ourselves into that energy. So let me ask you something. Have you ever set a goal that looked so exciting on paper and then your body responded like, nope, that's not going to happen? I definitely have. And I know that with it being a new year, there's usually a lot of goals, a lot of pages in our planners that are dedicated to these big things that we have our eye on for the year. And sometimes when we actually start to try to execute those things, we can hit some pretty big bumps. Our brain can cast a beautiful big vision, and our nervous system, meanwhile, is bracing for impact. Or sometimes it's a matter of we're trying to feel motivated, but instead we feel tense, we feel distracted, or we're comparing ourselves, playing the old comparison game, looking at how it's going for other people. And that just puts us in a position of waiting for the next thing to go wrong. So today I want to give you a framework that's simple, but that changes how you set goals, how you lead, and how you stop self-sabotaging when things start to go well. It all starts now. So I'm really excited to go into this today because I know that most high achievers, most high achieving women, the issue isn't that you're not strategic enough. It has so much more to do with internal capacity, where it hasn't caught up to the size of what you're asking yourself to hold. Okay? That's what happens with so many of our big goals. And so let's talk about that. And if you're new here, I'm Theresa. Like I said before, I'm an EFT Master Practitioner, which means I work with the nervous system. I use a modality called tapping quite a bit in my work. Also a hypnotherapist where I bring in the subconscious mind and help people to really rewire those deep-rooted, deep grooves that make it feel like, oh, that's just the way that we are, when really it's just programming and we can reprogram it. Also just a total nervous system nerd, and I love to help ambitious entrepreneurs and professionals stop living in survival mode so that they can create what they want without anxiety and overwhelm at the helm, right? And because it's New Year's Day, I'm going to say something that might save you a lot of pain this year, because most people set goals in a way that is like, what do I want this year? What do I want to achieve? What would be exciting? And listen, I love goals. I think they're actually really important for a lot of our advancements that we make. I love big dreams. I'm a huge fan of what I've come to call vision casting, which is an entire process that I have fine-tuned and dialed in that I use with my clients, and will actually be releasing a really cool course on this year as one of my things that is a vision and goal for myself. And if you only set goals from your mind and you don't bring your body with you as you set them, then you'll keep living in this cycle. And the cycle looks like you get inspired, you get motivated, and then you push, push, push. And then you have a nervous system freak out. And then there's avoidance and procrastination and shame and a whole like, oh, what's wrong with me? And then you repeat it. And I think most of us know that cycle really well, and we're really tired of it. And there's nothing wrong with you if that's happening. It's just exactly what happens when your nervous system doesn't feel safe holding what you're asking it to hold. It's a capacity issue. So I want to go into the framework that I'm talking about here, right? And I want you to picture your life and picture your business as two different levels. So we often talk about ceilings and floors in different things. We'll talk about, a lot of people talk about income ceilings. I work with a lot of women where it's like, I'm making tons of money, but I'm just stuck here. It's like I've hit this ceiling. I can't get through it. I want you to think about a ceiling and a floor today as if it's your business, and it's two different levels. Your ceiling, in the case of what we're talking about today, is the biggest vision you can hold in your mind, the biggest thought you can have about what is possible for you. And since it's a new year, think about this year. But I'm not going to hold you back from thinking about the next decade or a longer period of time either. Just, I want you to see what that biggest vision is that you can hold in your mind. The dream, the expansion, that version of you that feels really excited and expanded. I'm just really kind of pulling out from those growth edges. And then I want you to think about the floor, okay? Your floor is your deepest belief about yourself, okay? And it's not what you say you believe, not what you want to believe. I'm talking about where and what your nervous system is operating from when nobody's watching, okay? I'm talking about belief that shows up in your patterns, in your habits, in your tolerance for receiving, and in your ability to stay steady when things start to grow. When this, whatever your business goals, your life goals, your relationship goals, your health goals, as they start to happen, your ability to stay steady, grow with it. Your life then, so we have these two levels, right? We have the ceiling, we have the floor. Your life is in between, okay? So if you set your ceiling way up high, but your floor is still way down low, then your system is going to do what it always does. It's going to pull you back down into what feels familiar. Okay, instead of raising you up towards the dreams, the goals, the essentially unfamiliar, right? And yeah, that is going to happen even when the familiar is exhausting, and even when you tell yourself, no, I really don't want to keep living this way, or, earning this amount, or staying in this relationship, or eating this unhealthy food, or whatever else. The familiar can be really exhausting, and yet we will still return to it because it is what we know. Your body will choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven every time until we teach it something new. And teaching it doesn't mean just saying, hey, this is what I want to do, let's get on board, because the subconscious is just so much smarter than that. So let's make this kind of real here. If you've ever said, I want to make more money, or I want to grow my business, or I want to be more visible, or I want to finally go for it about whatever it is that you want, and then you notice after you kind of make that statement that all of a sudden you're avoiding the things that get you there, or you're scrolling on social media apps more, you're overthinking things, like you're finding all of these ways to kind of put something in front of the thing and overthinking it, or procrastinating, then that's the floor talking. That is the low level they're talking. That's your nervous system saying, I don't know if you can hold that. I don't know if that feels safe. And when we don't know how to work with that, then we start trying to force the ceiling. And that can look like, gosh, especially this time of year, especially on a new year, who's creating a vision board, who's trying to revamp the affirmations, who's looking for more strategy. Somebody's got to have the answer, right? Just need more strategy. Who's looking to just push more, like, oh, hey, I'll just double the amount of time that I'm working on X, Y, or Z, and that'll get me there. And it's not that any of those things are bad. Strategy's great. Dedicating a little more time to something can often be helpful. Even getting more in touch, like emotionally, with your vision. Okay. But they don't work when the foundation isn't there. That's really my point, because your goals are only as sustainable as your internal capacity to hold them. I'm just going to slow down and say that again, because I missed this for so long. So if anybody needs to hear it again, it's me, to be reminded of it. My goals are only as sustainable as my internal capacity to hold them, because your body tells the truth. And this is one of my favorite ways to see it. Like, you could ask somebody, what do you want? And they can say, I want to double my income. Actually, just had a client the other day. I asked her what her goal was for the year. I want to double my business. Okay. You say, okay, what about tripling it? I actually did this with her too. And you can literally watch them contract. Maybe it's you see the shoulders, or they start breathing differently, or there's kind of a nervous laugh. Something's like, yeah, but like I was only envisioning the possibility of double, not triple. The contraction is information. It's really helpful information. It's your body speaking to you about those goals, right? And the goal isn't to judge it when that happens. It's just to listen, because it's showing you where the floor is. And in 2026, if you do nothing else, please don't set goals without checking your floor. Really important. So I spent years setting goals from pressure. I'll prove, I'll push, I'll perform, I'll do more, I'll work harder, I'll work longer, I'll miss out on things, whatever it takes. And it can often look like to other people like you're crushing it, you're dedicated, whatever. But internally, it's a heavy, heavy load on the nervous system. And I think for a while I had my high functioning anxiety confused with ambition and productivity and thoughts of like, oh, I can handle it. But it was a lot of fear. It was a lot of fear. It was a lot of hypervigilance. And it was a lot of feeling like no matter what I might do, probably it's not going to be enough. And it was a belief that I had to earn everything: rest, safety, worth. And some of you know my story, and I'm not going to go into it much on this episode. You can hear it in plenty of other places and other shows that I've been on and so forth. But between car accidents I had when I was younger, chronic pain, just getting knocked off of a timeline that I somehow thought I was on, divorce, rebuilding, having 4 kids, just wanting something that felt like mine in my business, in my life, and then realizing that I couldn't mindset my way there. I couldn't mindset my way to inner peace or to relaxed success, and that I really had to teach my body something new. And that's really when everything shifted for me, not because I became some different person overnight. I definitely didn't. I'm always becoming. It's literally why my business is called Becoming More Me. It's not something that I did and is done. It's something that I'm always doing. My floor started to rise. That means that I was feeling more safety and more self-trust, more regulation, more capacity, right? So then when I'm looking at the ceiling, I didn't have to self-sabotage to bring myself back down, right? And that's the problem with a high ceiling and a low floor. And what happens is that, let's just say, in business and dealing with a lot of other coaches and entrepreneurs and things like that, it's like we do a lot of launches, launching products, launching courses, launching programs, whatever it is. You can have a big launch and then you crash. Literally, the energy, sometimes your health, sometimes you get really sick afterwards, or you just want to be a hermit and go crawl in a hole. Or I see this a lot too, where clients of mine will go, they've raised their prices, they're doing well, and they've raised them because they're doing well and they're pretty booked, raise their prices, they sign a client that pays them more than they've ever been paid before, and then it's kind of like they lose it, and they start questioning everything. Am I even qualified to do this? And what am I going to do? And what if they don't get the results that they should get, or whatever else? You have these moments, right? Maybe if you're into creating social media, you have these moments where you kind of go viral. Something does really well. And then all of a sudden being visible is just, it's too much for you. Or maybe in any type of scenario, you receive some big chunk of money. And it could be through your business. It could be from, someone passing away and leaving you money. It could be from winning on a lottery ticket or whatever else. And then something mysteriously happens and it seems to disappear. I've been there a bunch of times. So when your nervous system associates success, in the cases I just mentioned, a big launch, high-paying clients, going viral, receiving money, whatever the case may be, success is then danger, responsibility, it's visibility, it's rejection, pressure, it's loss. Your system's going to try to restore equilibrium because your body is loyal to what it believes keeps you safe. Okay? So for 2026, what if we stopped setting goals like they're just ideas and we started setting them like they're containers? We can be asking things like, can my nervous system hold this? Or if it's feeling like it can't, you could be asking different questions like, what needs to be healed or what needs to be rewired or strengthened so that my nervous system can hold this, handle this, expand with me? So let's talk about the floor a little bit here, because this is an area a lot of people skip. Your floor is built from things like old identity patterns, subconscious fears, inherited stories, other people's opinions that live rent-free in your head, trauma responses, self-worth limits, and the nervous system's tolerance for receiving and being seen. Your floor is a paradigm, your paradigm in many ways. So how do we strengthen it? How do we change it? How do we shift a paradigm? How do we shift a floor? Well, first, we call out that belief that's running the show. Not 10 beliefs, one. And some examples of things that you might find as you're kind of reviewing what your beliefs are could be things like, I can't trust myself to follow through, or if I get too successful, people will judge me. Maybe you like to judge yourself for what you do or don't do. Maybe it's a belief like I'm not consistent, or I always mess it up, or it's only a matter of time before something goes wrong, so why bother? Or I have to do it perfectly or it doesn't count. Write down what that prominent belief is for you. If you have other beliefs, write them down too, but pick the one, like the one that screams and shouts, like this is the problem child, okay? Write that one down. Don't filter it. You don't need to make it sound pretty. And then look at that belief and ask, is it true right now? Is it true in this moment? If your brain says yes, that's okay. Go find evidence for what else is true. Because our brain is a search engine. I've talked about this on a bunch of my workshops, and it's really important in my client work too. Because if you're searching for proof that you can't, you will keep finding it. If you're searching for proof that this belief is true, I know it's true, I'm going to hang on to it, it is my story and I'm sticking to it, you will find plenty of reasons to hang on to it. But if that belief is what's keeping you separate from your dreams and is going to put you in a place where you have regrets and you're disappointed that you didn't do things differently, then it's time to question whether hanging on to those stories and that belief is really worth it. So we start training our brain, especially the reticular activating system, to search for proof that you can. Proof that you've already handled so many difficult things in this life. You've already learned so much. You've already grown tremendously. And you have probably a bunch of examples of how you have previously regulated or nourished your system so that you could return to groundedness. Have you joined the Becoming More Me community over on School yet? It is one of the fastest growing distraction-free platforms for learning and connection. And it's where the magic's happening for the Becoming More Me community as well. Inside, you will find a high vibe circle of heart-centered, ambitious entrepreneurs and professionals doing deep work to become who they truly feel called to be in life, in business, in love, health, and wealth, and doing it in ways that feel aligned, authentic, and full of pleasure. The community is packed with tons of valuable resources too that you can start using right away, as well as guidance to find the ones that are going to help you so that you don't need to waste time. We're talking tools, trainings, and practices to support your growth, all for free. Plus, you can find info on working with me more deeply, whether it's through one-on-one coaching, small group experiences, or the Becoming More Me with EFT program, as well as information on upcoming workshops and other events. To join, head over to skool.com/discovery. That's skool.com/discovery. Type in my name, Theresa, Lear, Levine, and you will find the Becoming More Me community right there. Click on it to join. I can't wait to welcome you to the community. And by the way, this is why talk-only work can feel really slow for some people. Okay? I get a lot of people that come my way that are like, oh, no more talk therapy. Too slow, not getting anywhere. Because your mind might be understanding something, but your body hasn't updated. That's why so many people come to me, they know like what all their issues are. They're like, I'm this way because XYZ, blah, blah, blah. But they haven't updated the subconscious to go along with it and to understand those things and to show up differently. So that is why things like EFT and hypnosis and somatic work, all of it, right, become this bridge. You're not just thinking new beliefs, you're installing them. Okay, because it's programming, right? And if we kind of think of ourselves more like a computer, a program, these codes that we have, we need to recode things, right? Because a lot of people, like, let's just like redefine failure, right? A lot of people have a floor that says, if I fail, that means I'm not safe. If I fail, it means I'm not good enough. If I fail, it means I should stop. I don't know anybody that's ever achieved amazing goals without failing, without hitting bumps along the way. Mistakes are an invitation to try again. The only time that it becomes a problem is when we reinforce shame with it. We use it to reinforce shame. And then we repeat the pattern. So in 2026, what if failure was just data? What if it was just feedback? What if it meant, okay, that wasn't the way. This is guiding me towards something new. When your body trusts, I've got me, I can hold this. You don't collapse when you have a little bump in the road, when something doesn't work out quite right. Another way that you can start to raise the floor so that it's getting closer to that ceiling, right, is to stop overlooking your wins. So many high achievers it's like they're allergic to winning, to celebrating. And ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Hit a milestone and immediately, like, whoop, there goes the goalpost. Moved it. I actually didn't actually achieve that thing because now it's over there. Okay, I'm gonna go chase that one, and when I get there, I'm gonna move it over here, and I'm never actually going to get there, and I'm never gonna pause to celebrate it. Your nervous system learns through repetition and reinforcement, right? So if you want your body to believe that you can do something, you have to give it evidence, okay? And not like once a year or once a quarter, every day. Every day, stack and compound those wins, even the little ones, right? Especially the little ones, because the goal isn't just external success, it's internal safety, it's worthiness. Worthiness is always the multiplier. You can only expand as much as your self-worth allows you to, right? So one more piece of the floor that people overlook, okay, is boundaries, okay? So whenever you feel resentment, there's usually a boundary missing, okay? Boundaries aren't punishment, they're just self-respect that get put into action. So if you're saying that you want to grow in 2026, and I know you do, you'll be listening to this podcast if you're like, nope, I'm good, staying the same this year, love it. But your calendar is in chaos, or your phone owns you, or your energy is just it's leaking, whether that's in conversations or obligations or people pleasing, whatever the case may be, then your nervous system is going to stay in survival mode, okay? Because it cannot feel safe expanding while it's constantly on alert, okay? So before we wrap up, let's talk about the ceiling, because I'm not telling you to shrink your dreams, okay? I'm telling you to build yourself into the woman or the man who can hold them, okay? Raising your ceiling can look like letting yourself ask bigger questions. It can look like getting into rooms and situations with people who are like expanders for your mind, your body, all of it. It can look like making decisions as your future self, not from the current place of fear. Also, it can look like making decisions from love, right? And here's the key. Don't just set the goal. Train your body for it. Close your eyes and then like future pace it. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel in your body? What do you smell? Like get all the senses involved. Get emotionally involved with the outcome you desire. And if you feel that contraction that we talked about earlier, like when I said, hey, if you're talking about doubling your income, then ask yourself about tripling it. You feel that contraction? Then don't force it. Just use it. Contraction can be part of the roadmap, showing you where to do the work. Let's try something here, okay? And if you're driving or doing something that requires your attention, keep your eyes open. But if you're somewhere safe, just soften your gaze, maybe take in a slow breath through your nose, a longer exhale out through your mouth. Do it again. Inhale. And exhale. Drop your shoulders. Notice them, how they feel. Notice your jaw. Notice how your belly feels. Is it softened? Is it braced? And this is just a simple reset that you can do in a matter of seconds, okay? Bring 4 fingers to either side of your sternum, not right on the center, but to either side of the bone. Just press gently but firmly and breathe. Do that a few times. If you want to, you can even tap the sternum in the middle while you breathe. And this is just one of those little tell your body it's safe cues. It's not magic, just physiology. And you're giving your system a signal. I'm here, I'm okay, we can respond. And that's the difference. Reaction versus response, right? When you react, you give your power to the person, the circumstance outside of yourself. When you respond, you keep your power. Then you get to choose from clarity. Super important when we're applying this to our goals also. So remember, life is what happens in between your ceiling and your floor, and it is where your daily identity lives. It is where your habits live, and where you can either have a chaotic reaction or a regulated and nourished response. And this is where you either outsource your power or call it back. And this is what I want for you in 2026. Not perfection, not never being triggered or having any setbacks or failures, but becoming the kind of person who notices the triggers and returns to yourself. The kind of person who can hold success and visibility without collapsing, who can hold all that money without guilt, and who can hold a big mission without pressure being at the helm. Because when your nervous system learns safety, then you stop making decisions from urgency and you start moving intentionally. That's so important. And that's when things really speed up, when your nervous system is able to slow down. And I know that's what you're looking to do this year. And I know that these instructions might not even be what you want to hear, but nothing helped me like this did. Nothing. And believe me, I've read tons of books. I learned so many things and then found myself at a loss for how to actually make them work in my life because my body wasn't being brought into the equation. But things really sped up for me in the realm of relaxed success in all areas of my life, health, wealth, relationships, all of it, in a way that felt really clean in my body after I was able to figure out where does it feel safe, where doesn't it feel safe, and without forcing it. But because I became and am still becoming the person who can continue to hold these higher ceilings as I raise my floor to meet them. Okay? So if you're setting goals today, set your goal. Ask your body if it can hold it. And again, if it's saying not yet, be honest. What's the floor belief that needs work first? And what does your nervous system need in order to feel safe becoming that new version of you? This is how you're going to create sustainable expansion. Okay? It's not about a bigger vision board or a better planner. It's about working with your mind and your body together in these new ways. And if this episode resonated with you, then please, please, please just take a simple action today. Leave a review and let us know what you loved about it. Share it with a friend. Pick a belief that you're done living from and one that you're willing to support your nervous system with this week, and go for it. And if you want more support with this in a deeper way, using coaching and EFT and hypnosis and helping your body actually update, then connect with me. And I will help you to understand what these shifts can look like in your exact scenarios. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super difficult, guys. I want you to have the best 2026 possible. So Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for listening. May this be the year that you stop carrying your life on your nervous system and start building from safety and self-trust and real increased capacity. Happy New Year. See you in the next episode. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me today. If you loved this episode, please leave a review or simply share it with someone else who would get great benefit from it too. If you share on social media, please tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. And if your inner critic is still trying to argue with those facts, hit me up. We've got work to do.